out there showing property? Ron Smith? I see you.
I wish. I'm in Louisiana right now, so I'm on a little bit of a hiatus here.
Oh, okay. So has this been helpful for you? And you can tell me the truth. I have thick skin.
Oh no, absolutely. Absolutely. This has been very helpful.
I need you guys to walk away with 1 to 3 action items, things you're going to put into place today, tomorrow. Who's showing property today? Who's working with the client today? Layla? Who else?
Looks like Audra
Audra. Okay.
and RJ.
Janet. Awesome. Who else? Okay. Stacy, you can let me know when we're ready. I'm just.
Oh, we're ready. We're ready.
Oh, okay.
Good.
So, which is a great segue to our job description, Stacy. Before I put it up. So, who else is working with a client today? Okay. So if you're not working with a client today, what are you doing today? Anybody?
Previewing.
Okay. You know I like that answer, Anthony. Anybody else? What are you doing today to support your business?
I'm creating a list of open houses I'm going to tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm going to open houses tomorrow too. That's cool.
Okay, working on my database, Christine. Okay, perfect. Brittany, were you going to say something?
I just signed up for that Nextdoor app, and there were a couple people who posted real estate stuff, so I sent them messages.
Hey, okay. Who's doing Tatiana? You're doing holiday cards? Yes, I have to get somebody to help me finish mine.
I wish somebody would help me, but my
Hey, there's a
boyfriend
whole bunch of kids out here with good handwriting. Well, some of them have good handwriting. I'm hiring some to
If you haven't done the holiday postcards through Command, I highly recommend it. It's very easy. It's really simple.
Okay. So that question kind of leads into my, I always ask this question because believe it or not, I just learned it. No, let me not say I just learned it. I just subscribed to it a couple of years ago. And keep in mind, I've been in business a long time and I didn't know my job description. What is our job description, guys? As a real estate professional, 5 elements of our job description. What is it? Don't all jump in.
My biggest thing is education.
Oh my God!
What would Gary Keller say?
Through the process.
What's that again, Sherelle?
Navigating buyers and sellers through the process.
Okay, and we want to break that down to the brake pads. Like, give me 5 actionable steps that you can take to do that.
Is one of them being loyal? Is that what you're talking about? Those 5 where it's like loyalty or honesty? That one of those?
Well, that's our value proposition. Like that's our value statement. No, there's an actual job description. We have, so like if you were applying to IBM or Amazon or wherever, and you were going in for the job, the manager would give you a job description and say, hey, if your skills fit this job description, then we're going to hire you. So what is our job description? What are we supposed to be doing?
Lead generation.
Awesome, Jacqueline, thank you. Give me, it's 4 more.
Sell houses.
Well, yes.
Represent the broker.
Okay, well, we do that. We do
Building
that.
relationships.
Communication skills.
Building your communication skills. Okay, let's tell me more about that one. Let's break that one down a little bit more. Communication skills. Who said that?
I did.
Oh, Keisha. Okay, great.
I just, as a realtor, you need to have good like interpersonal skills, to communicate with your clients and be educated and, you need to also, build that personal relationship as well.
Okay. So I am going to, please tell me. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Stacy. Okay, I am going to share this page with you. Please take a picture, take notes, put it on your phone. Once I get to share the screen.
I was going to add that we are kind of like the connector. We're the bridge connector between like buyer and seller.
You are all those things. If anyone asks you what your job description is, this is what you are supposed to be doing every working day of your week. These are not in any specific order, and they all are married to one another. You are to lead generate. You are to lead follow-up. You are to go on appointments. You are to negotiate contracts and practice script and role play. So if you are not doing number 3 today, then you need to be doing the other ones. If you expect your business to move the needle. So now I'm going to ask some other people again, not the ones that have answered already. Tell me, if you're not doing number 3 today, what are you doing today in your, if today is a working day for you? What are you doing today?
I would say, instead of waiting on my clients who aren't ready to pretty much get their credit and everything pulled, to go ahead and at least get their BBA signed instead of waiting on that next step for them. Yeah.
Okay, I like that, Elise. And a great place to get that signed is at the end of your buyer consultation. So if you are working with a buyer and you have not done a buyer consultation, I'm strongly going to suggest you pause, because you're turning your wheels. And again, I'm telling you from bloody battled experience, every time I don't do a buyer consultation, I burn time and I mess up. And it's really hard when you work referrals and you work repeat business, because they the repeat business, they know how you work. Or if you sold them a house before, and let's say you're selling an investment property, well then, they know how you work. So you just think, oh, they got it. No, it doesn't have to be a full-blown one, but you want to come back and do a buyer consultation, because that's where you level expectations, guys. That's where you tell them how it's going to work so that everybody's on the same page. And whenever you feel yourself stalled with your client, that's the time to bring them back in. It's so easy now with Zoom. You don't even have to be in the office. You can send them a Zoom link and say, okay, you know what, Donnie, honestly, I feel like I've been missing the mark. The market's moving so quickly. I just want to make sure we're on the same page, that we're still on the same page. Have any of your requirements shifted? Take the time, guys. Don't ever assume anything. Take the time to just ask the questions. I literally, just before we got on this training, I had a client that we got her approved. She's working with one of my preferred lenders, got her approved for 265. She told me she didn't want to go above 265. She sent me a house that was 290, and I'm going, what the heck? And she kept sending me these homes that were not in the parameters that we discussed. So I called the lender. I said, hey, listen, Jess, my client keeps sending, or our client keeps sending me houses outside of our price point. Am I missing something? And she goes, oh yeah, we had a conversation, da 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 da. I said, does she have the money? Yes, da 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 da. Sure enough, today, client never said anything to me. She sent me a house this morning, one that was 229, one that was 279. And she's like, did you check on these? Can you check on these for me? And I said, and this was in a text, I was very careful. And I said, I want to make sure we're all still on the same page. Per our last discussion, you gave me the impression that we were settled at 265, no more. Is there something that's changed? It wasn't until I asked her that she said, oh yeah, I had a conversation with the lender and da 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 da. So I would have been out here spinning my wheels if I hadn't asked a question. I'm going, why are you sending me 280 and 290 homes when you were dead set at 265? You have to check in. And again, doesn't have to be anything formal blown out, but check in with your clients. Do a mini consultation if you have to, if you don't feel like you're getting them what they need. Okay. But lead generate, lead follow up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts, practice and role play. So practice and role play includes your product knowledge. You can actually practice your scripts with the on-site agents if you go preview new construction. I strongly recommend that. If you don't want to go in, if you can't find any vacant homes to look at, then go preview new homes. They're going to show you what's trending, both in colors, materials, and everything. The on-site agent has done all the work for you guys. They already know where the schools are. They know where the churches and all the points of interest are. They have a packet. So all you gotta do is go get the packet, get the floor plans, study the floor plans. Because even on MLS, you may get one house and they'll say, hey, this is whatever, pick a community. This is brand new community USA. And they'll put a picture of one house, one floor plan. If you go get the packet and study the floor plans, then when Janet calls me and says, hey, Toshma, I really want to be in Powder Springs, but I want a master on the main. And I'm only seeing 2-story homes in this area. I say, Janet, do I have news for you? You're going to be so excited because 123 New Community Main Street actually has a master on the main floor plan. And she's like, what? Let's go today. You just became a winner, but that's doing your research. So part of number 5, I roll in my product research. So if you don't have anybody that you're talking to, if you're not going on an appointment today, if you're not negotiating a contract, go preview. Go to open houses, go to new construction. They're always open. And get online and just preview homes on the inside. Okay. Is that helpful, guys? Take a picture of this job description. You should be doing that and decide how many days a week you're working. If you're only working 5 days a week, fine. If you're working 6 days a week, fine. If you're working 3 days a week, fine. But in those days of the week, these are the things that you need to be doing.
Toshma, wouldn't you say also if you're visiting open houses that's a form of practice and role play if you talk to the agent that's holding the open house?
Absolutely.
So in your early days, you know, it's a real mixture of how you do practice and role play. But it's great to have a script partner.
That is the best place. Volunteer, guys. Volunteer for people's open houses. Okay. There are, back on those resources that Stacy put up on the screen, there are always listing agents looking for folks to sit their open houses because they can't do them. Some of them don't want to do them and some of them can't do them. They just can't service all of those clients. Volunteer for those. That's the easiest way to find buyers. That is my second source of business. My first source of business are referrals and repeat business. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. I started, like I said, in new construction. I didn't have a sphere that I would want to talk about. I didn't want to ask my friends to buy real estate because I was that's how I was about sales. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to ask him. I'm going to sound so salesy. And I never asked my friends and family for leads. So I started with a company that gave me leads. And from those people that I met 10, 15 years ago, I'm still generating business. Because all I need is one, as you can tell, if I meet you once, I'm going to win you over. I just am. So that's what I bank on. I just work with what I'm good at. I'm not great cold calling. So I'm like, if I got a call, at least I can say, oh yeah, Stacy told me to call you. That just makes my personality come out more when I don't have to be like, oh my God, I don't know who Ryan is. I don't want to go up to him and say anything because I do meet strangers. I'm one of those people like, some people like, I never meet a stranger. I'm like, I do meet strangers. So I like to have that warm handoff. So again, it's important. Get out there, talk to the on-site agents, let them know. You would be blowing on-site agents away at this point right now. If you just go into a new home community and say, hey, I'm Toshma and I am previewing. And they're like, you what? It's like, I'm previewing. I'm like, do you have a client that needs to buy a house? And like, well, I'm always working with buyers that are looking for for new homes, but I'm just out here doing my research. They would be so blown away to the point that they will keep your information because they know that you're empowering and informing yourselves, educating yourselves, and you're going to bring qualified clients to the community. And trust and believe, they give you business. On-site agents give you business as well, because most of them work for the builder. So they can't do business outside of the builder that they work for. So if you show them that you are serious about your business and you're coming in there educating yourselves, they're going to respect your level of business and they'll call you. I've gotten calls, guys. I'm not making this up. Gotten calls from on-site agents going, hey, I can't help so-and-so. This price point wasn't their price point, but I knew you would take good care of them. So can you call them and see if you can sell my house? Okay. Questions on your...
What was the name of the company you used to generate leads? You said a company you used gave you leads.
Well, when I started in the business, it was the brokerage that I was working with. It was a new home broker, basically. They're no longer out there in the marketplace. But there's tons of places to buy leads. I think that's another class. But yeah. But you can actually find people as well. That's another thing, another place to find not only inventory, but to find clients. Again, in new construction. A lot of times the on-site agent is not there. I used to go and stalk communities. That's where I got one of my long-term clients. I've known them probably 13 years. I was stalking a community. They closed at 6. I was out there at 6:30. People got off work at 6. They didn't get out there till 6:30. And I'm walking around. They're like, oh, are you the on-site agent? Or they didn't say on-site, but like, oh, are you the agent for the community? And I said, yes, I'm an agent. I didn't lie. I was like, I'm an agent. How can I help you? And they're like, oh, we just wanted to, kind of see about the community. I said, well, you know what? The agent that works here is gone, but I have the floor plans because guess what? I went in there and got the packet. I had walked the homes, the vacant homes, so I knew what the floor plans look like. And here's where we talk about career. It took me 4 years to sell that couple a house. But in those 4 years, they provided me multi-million-dollar worth of revenue. They sent me so many people over those 4 years, and I started and stopped with them every year for 4 years, and just life was happening every year, and they could never buy, or they didn't buy until that 4th year of knowing them. But they sent me millions of dollars in revenue in referrals. Okay. And that was just from going to preview houses. Okay. So let's spend a little more time on the showing a qualified home. So let's see. Why can I not?
Okay, stop screen share. Where are you trying to go? You trying to go to showing time, or you muted, Toshma?
Okay. Now I just want to see who's not looking at me so I can call on them.
There you go.
Let's see. Who's looking real disinterested over here? I see you coming back, Olga. That was cute. Okay, Christine Smith. How are you? Talk to me. Okay, when you are preparing to show a property, what do you do? Tell me what you...
Well, I would be assuming the first thing I would do is do the research on MLS or Georgia MLS.
Okay.
Contact the listing agent. Well, probably ask my clients to do a drive-by. And I would probably preview it myself without my client first. And what's next? Make an appointment. Do some research on the tax records. That's about it. I don't know.
Okay. Tanika, is that the same thing you would do? Is it Tanika?
It is Tanika. Yeah, I don't think I would do anything too different, honestly. I'm sorry, I don't feel well. I'm sick, so I'm just kind of trying to listen as possible.
I won't pick on you too much then. Okay. How about Ariel? Ariel, how do you prepare to show a home?
Definitely try to do my research and make sure that the qualified home is what my buyer is asking, and trying to see all like the hidden stuff that the buyer might not see.
Okay, so let's delve into that, because showing the home is, again, not just opening the door and letting them in. There's preparation to how you show a property. When you guys are saying do my research, what does that look like? What does doing my research look like?
I would do probably a thorough search of like the listing history of the property, see like how many days on market, is that total days on market, maybe like do a quick FMLS search of like comps, is it priced appropriately, tax records, and then also you're looking for the features of the home to make sure it fits with what the buyers are looking for. And then maybe, I mean, you could look to see if there's property disclosures or like a recent appraisal, and you could have all that ready.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Priscilla, how about you, Priscilla? When you call to, well, first of all, let me not assume. What do you do when you are preparing a home to show your client?
I think everyone said pretty much what you do. Just preview the homes yourself beforehand, just so that you know what's in the home. Make a few talking points, just things that you need to point out to your buyers. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah, just have the buyers do a drive-by and just make sure it's a neighborhood that they want to be in, or an area that they want to be in.
Okay, I'm liking this trend. Go up, somebody speaking. Sorry, who was it?
I was going to share what I've done in the past, or what I usually do.
Okay.
Because drive-bys have typically wasted time, what I do is I usually set up my clients to have their own little interactive site that sends them real-time listings. But I also let them know that during our showings, we'll see 4 to 5 homes. I'll get a list of homes together. I've already known their schedule, so then I'll send them a reminder text saying, hey, you have a showing scheduled at this time with me, and we're going to see the following homes in this order. I always let them know that whenever I schedule homes to be shown, just to make sure that we're doing good business, that we actually go see the homes. Because I've had buyers, they'll get the list and they'll say, oh, I don't want to see any of those. And I'm like, well, we've already scheduled the appointment, and well, I don't like the pictures. Well, guess what? The pictures are not going to show you the true character of the home. So I will still encourage them to at least go see the home. Sometimes they end up loving the house, but that's typically what I do. Look to see what matches their needs, gather about 4 to 5 homes, send them a reminder text with the homes that we're going to go see, and go from there.
Perfect. Janet, thank you so much. You brought up a couple of good points I would like everyone to make note of. Again, do good business, guys. Be a professional of integrity and conduct good business, because you're going to see these people again. You may not appreciate it as someone working with buyers a lot until you are the listing agent. You don't know, even on vacant homes, a lot of times sellers have alarm systems and things of that nature. They don't want to give out the codes. There's a lot of moving parts to showing or presenting a property to market. And the worst thing you can do to someone is have them remove their family, remove the dog, do all this stuff, make the house smell good, and then you just no show, no call. They're going to remember you. Now, yes, does life happen and do people cancel on you? Sure, but you're the professional, and it's your responsibility to call or contact that listing agent, even if it is 30 minutes before. At least give them the courtesy of saying, hey, we're not going to be able to make it. Or I can make it, but I'm going to be 30 minutes late because our tour took longer than it needed to. That's good business, because again, you're going to see these people again. So make sure you present yourself as the professional that you are. Great with the reminder text message. Definitely communicate, text, phone call, email with your client the day before. Just want to make sure, Caritha, that we are still on track to view homes tomorrow at 3 p.m. Because life happens to people, and then they'll no show on you. So you'll do enough driving and wasting gas that you'll be like, oh no, I got to do a reminder text message, reminder phone call. When you are vetting property, make sure you ask more than just the obvious questions, i.e., hi, Keisha, I'm calling you about your property on 123 Main Street. Is it still available? What else should I be asking Keisha about this listing before I put it on my list of homes to show?
Does she currently have any offers on the property?
Love it. What else?
Can she share the seller's disclosure?
Love it. What else? Come on, guys. Give me some other questions you're asking the listing agent. Keisha's our listing agent. She has the home that my buyer wants. What do I want to know to make sure it's a good use of time?
If they have any
Are you
offers,
sellers?
if they have offers when they're making a decision.
Perfect. When are we making a decision? If you have offers, when is the seller making a decision? What else?
Is it move-in ready, or do they need time to prepare after closing to move out?
Okay, I'm going to suggest some verbiage that's going to ask that question, Priscilla, just in a different way. So Keisha, once your seller receives the offer that they're looking for, what is their time frame to make a transition? Okay, or are there any things about the property that our buyer should know? Is there anything that can help my buyer be the buyer picked? If the home is under contract, would you mind sharing if the offer is a cash offer or a financed offer? If you know your client is FHA and they can't go any other way, will the home go FHA? Okay. If they'll tell you, I ask as many questions as the listing agent will let me get out. If they'll tell me how many offers they got, great. And I'll ask, hey, Keisha, I know I'm treading the line here, but just curious, were any of your offers above list price?
So I have a question.
Yes.
Is it good practice, or is it kind of like stretching yourself too thin if you have that client who maybe at the last minute they couldn't make the appointment to go show the house? Is it good practice to kind of like just do like a video virtual call for them? Or do you think that'll kind of be like a habit that they may fall into and just kind of have you running around and kind of like connecting to Google Duo or Zoom to show them the house instead of them being there?
I tell you, Elise, if I know this is the home for them, I'm going to go and preview. And sometimes we'll do that. Like we'll get out. I've gotten to a home and admittedly, I didn't preview it. It always happens when I don't do what I'm supposed to do. And it'll be like, oh man, this is not it. I'm not going to waste time. If I see them dragging out of the car or they're still sitting in the car, then I'll walk to the window and say, hey, you know what, Elise, I know this is not it. It didn't have the driveway you wanted. I said, but I tell you what, just as a professional courtesy, I'm going to go ahead and run through here and preview it real quick. So what I've done is I've looked at it for the next client. Because remember, it's never about this one transaction I'm in. It's always about the next one. Because I got to eat tomorrow too. And y'all can't see me, but I love to eat. So I'm always eating. Okay. So it's never about just this one. So I'm going to go preview that property. See if there's anything redeeming about it that may work for another client. Then I've also kept my appointment. So the seller is not feeling like this girl is garbage. She's not, conducting herself properly. but I've saved my client time. And if I say that to my client, hey, you know what, Elise, I know this isn't the property for you. I can tell by the driveway, but I'm just going to run through here really quick. Sometimes they'll get out and they're like, well, I guess we could just go ahead and see it. Because you never know, especially if everything, all the research you've done, if it's ticked off all the boxes and it just didn't quite give the right aesthetic to begin with. I think it's still worth a look for me personally, because I'm always previewing. I got to know the inventory because it's going to work for somebody. But you never know, that client may walk in and it may wow them. But don't be afraid to stop it at the door. Hey, you know what? I know it's not a good use of your time. This is not the driveway, or it's not the look that you wanted on the outside. It's okay. Give me 5. You can preview in 5 minutes. You can run through there, look bedrooms back, and look at the level of finish on the house, look in the back and see what the backyard looks like. How are they keeping the house? Do you smell the cat? You know, is the dog chewed up the whatever? You can do all that real fast because you're not moving in that house. You're just doing research. Make sense?
Hey, Toshma.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sure you have the Showing Time app on your phone.
Yeah.
I live and breathe by that thing. It is so convenient when a client does say, I don't even want to go inside. You can go in there in half a second, cancel the appointment. You can give a reason. So at least the listing agent and the seller know right away, you know, that you've done it. You are not a no call, no show.
Right. Just don't do that. Don't no call, no show. At least go ahead and show it, video it. If that'll help, go in and take video. Yes, do the showing. Or if you absolutely just know it's a dud, just give the seller the professional courtesy of saying, hey, we didn't even go in. And I've gotten those. Hey, in the remarks, they got to the house and saw that it was backed up to the street. They don't even want to go in. Well, at least I know, and at least I got feedback, Okay, Janet said something else that was important for you guys to put in your notes. Plan your tour. Yes, Wes, it's the Showing Time app. It's the actual app that you get through that you can click on in the listing in FMLS. There's an actual separate app for it. Set up your tour. Send your client the tour. In FMLS, do you guys know how to do a map of your homes in FMLS? Do you all know how to do that? Perfect. Take that map with the listings, email it to your client so they know the route of the tour, okay, and the homes that you're going to view. Send them the buyer report so that they don't have all the agent information. Send them the buyer report. And then have ready, you can either send it to them beforehand or have it when you're ready to get out of the car, have that home buyer checklist. Okay. And that home buyer checklist, if you don't have it in front of you, is in the section of the module that we're doing. I'm gonna see it. It's on page, well, I don't know if the pages are the same, but it's the home tour checklist. It's on page 18 in my binder when you're showing homes. Okay. Have them have a copy of that with them, along with the buyer report of the homes that you're going to see. And you have their 5 hot topics, their 5 deal breakers, their 5 must-haves, their 5 dreams. Have that with you. Okay. So when they're walking through the house and they're kind of giving the or they're kind of or maybe it has 3 of the 5 things. Again, now you're starting to sell the features by finding the benefit. And the benefit as it relates to their 5 hot topics. If I know that Elise is going to be cooking out crab boiling every weekend, the outside is very important. Maybe even the ability to have a gas line where she can get the big crock pot that we sit out on the fire, or she may be old school and doing it on just the wood stove, the wood, in the back. Hey, then I got to have a section where I can put the big pot, because I'm selling that. Please know, she just spoke my language. I used to have the crab balls on the big picnic table with the newspaper. I'm painting that whole picture. And she's like, and it's sold. So I didn't have to go look at 10 more houses because this is the one where the crock pot's going, where the boiling pot's going.
You're speaking my language.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And that's what you want to do. You want to find those buttons, guys. Let's see who had no teaching. Okay, so and I think it was is it Nyla? I didn't pronounce it correctly. I know I didn't. That was a teacher. And let's say you're still teaching, then maybe it's important to have that office space or that flex space that you can now conduct your Zoom meetings in. If that's a part of your lifestyle, my job is going to require me to do meetings every day, then we're selling this room. Okay, here's where you're going to conduct your classes every day. It's got this great wall right here behind me where you can put the chalkboard paint. The daylight hits it well, so it's always bright and sunny in there, and your kids are going to find it very inviting. You're selling the room. Yes, I can sell a wall. Do you know how great it is to have wall space? Do you know what we can do with the wall space? So you're going to walk through the home and find the features and look for the benefit to your client as it pertains to their 5 hot buttons. Find those 5 must-haves. Okay, and I kind of drifted off. I apologize. So the make sure you send them that list. So send them the list of the homes, the map, so they know where you're going to go. Okay. Make sure when you call the listing agent and call them or text them, don't put that on your list until you have had a direct communication with someone in that person's office, because that's going to be a colossal waste of time and your client's going to be frustrated. Do not rely on MLS. I don't care if it says active. I don't even care if it says pending, honestly. If it's a house they really want to see, call them to make sure. Because how many times have I called an agent and I said, you know what, Nikita, I know your listing says that it's pending. I just wanted to see kind of where your buyer is in the process. And Nikita says, you know what, as it turns out, they're real shaky on this inspection, or we haven't heard from them. So we're pretty much thinking they're getting ready to cancel. Now imagine if you hadn't asked a few more questions, you might not have had the opportunity at that home. It could still be under contract. Again, if your client really likes it and is vacant or it's easy to show, go ahead and show it, because that's the backup. Talk about the backup. Hey, Jennifer, you know what? We did not, we missed the opportunity to be in first position on this house, but I tell you what, I spoke with the agent. She's not 100% it's going to fly, and the seller is willing to take a backup. So let's go ahead and view the home. Let's make sure you love it, and then we're gonna submit a backup offer. How's that sound? She's shaking her head saying, she's saying yes, she's okay with that. Because if nothing else, what I'll do is get confirmation in that home viewing.
Somebody needs to mute. Thank you.
I'll get confirmation of really what Jennifer is looking for in that home viewing. So even if it is off the market right now, if she walks in that house and her face lights up and it ticks off every box, I'm not discouraged because it's gone. That just lets me know 100% this is what I got to go find. So then you go online and go to our social groups and go to our coming soons and say, hey, this is what I need. I need it in this zip code. I need this, and I have a ready, willing, and able buyer. Okay. Are we cool with that? Okay. Let's see. Sure. Now, so in times prior to COVID, I had a whole bag. Y'all probably would have called me bag lady. And this has come again from painful things that have happened wrong. A whole toolkit of things that I take with me. It's actually still in my car. When I show a property, literally go out to show it. So your list may be condensed, but these are things that you're going to want to have on hand. And don't laugh and take notes. All right, so make sure you have umbrellas. Make sure you have, make sure you have extra masks. Make sure you have hand sanitizer. Make sure you have booties for your shoes or your clients, okay? If you know your clients have children, or even the client themselves, have snacks, Do you know how many times I've lost out on an opportunity because my clients got fatigued and they're like, well, we're just gonna have to stop for a meal. And then you know how hard it is to corral people back mentally once they've checked out for something social? No. And you know, Stacy had to remind me, hey, we need a break. When I'm working, I'm on. I'll go all day, stomach growling and everything. I'm like, because I'm working. this is my job. So I'm not thinking about eating. I'm thinking about selling this house so I can move on to the next. So then I can go eat. Okay. So take snacks or have snacks. Make sure you have pens, pencils, things to write with. Have your clipboards or something to write on for your clients. Okay. Make sure you have your personal hygiene together, particularly breath. We now have this phenomenon called mask breath. It is a real thing. And they cannot listen to what you're saying if your breath is meeting before you do. You're going to lose trust. Bring mints, take mints. Have a flashlight. Most of us on our phones nowadays, it has a flashlight on it, but I would encourage you to still have a separate flashlight because you may have to go in the basement and look for the year of the water heater and on the water heater, I should say, or go up in the attic and look at the year on the air condition. So have a flashlight. Or some vacant houses, the owners are not paying the utility bills. Do you think I want to let the lights not flicking on keep me from selling this house today so I don't have to come back? No. Flashlight. I personally have, what do they call them? Galoshes or water boots. Just some shoes you don't mind getting messed up because you may have to walk in a backyard and it's wet. Even if you're walking back there and they're not, and you're taking video. Now with the phone, now you can do everything with the video. Okay. As you see, this list can get really long. Tape measures. Nowadays, again, they have all these apps on your phone. Go ahead and download them, guys. I'm making light here, but this is serious. Every one of these things has kept me from making a sale. So you think they're keeping me from making a sale now? No. Like, oh, well, I don't think the room is big enough. I think the room is too small. You better learn how to walk it off with your feet. Now, luckily I have, petite feet, so I don't have a 12, but I'll guesstimate it. I'll run it, hey, close to the size of my foot and walk a room off so that you can help a client envision their king size bed with the 2 end tables and the bureau going in this bedroom. But trust and believe, as soon as someone says that to me, and especially if it's a vacant home, because a lot of people don't have that point of reference in furniture pieces when the house is vacant. Take your tape measure and measure it off. Know the length and the size of your mattresses. How long is a 6 foot is a mattress? Is a queen size, king size? Because again, you can walk it off. This is real stuff, guys and ladies, real stuff. Because I'm not letting them out of this house until they give me 5 no's. It's got to be 5 reasons why this house isn't going to work, because it's never going to be perfect. Okay. Questions, and are there any other items that you guys have found helpful that you've needed when you're showing property? Please share.
One thing that I was going to add, Toshma, with the tape measure, I also bring painter's tape. Because when I move around from house to house, I have a sofa that's a non-negotiable. I will have it forever. And then I have art. I'm an artist. I have artwork that will go with me forever. If there's a wall not big enough for it, then that could be a problem.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan, for bringing that up. And that kind of segues me back to how important it is to have. Y'all gonna be like, girl, you don't stop talking about this consultation. Get those 5 things in the consultation. It's even nice to ask, are there any pieces, any memories, anything in your current home that you want to take with you? Because that's a pressure point. Do you know how many people buy homes based on the size of the kitchen hutch that's in their dining room that they never use, by the way, but it was their great grandma's and it's gone down, 50, 11 generations. They're not going to part with it. So now we have to find a property that's going to surround that piece of memory. So you best believe if the rest of the house is meh, but the dining room can house great grandma's hutch, that's the first place I'm going when I'm pointing out the benefits of this home. Oh my gosh, Tatiana, how would that hutch look in this dining room? Can you imagine the family gatherings around great grandma's hutch? And I put myself in the family. And again, that's a Southern thing. It may not work with your personality, but once they talk about a relative and I'm like, hey, your mama, your cousin, your whoever, because I'm becoming a part of this process. And I want them to know I'm living that with them. Okay. Any other things that you take with you or that you found successful when you're showing the property that you're like, oh my gosh, I really needed this?
You could take some water, like a little water bottle wouldn't hurt.
Water is very important. Again, these masks are drying people's mouths out. The mints, the gum, water, that's drying people out. Very important. Okay.
Extra paper towels and towels. I was in a townhome where we walked outside and then came back in and we both tracked dirt on the floor. So I was like, oh, you know what? I got some towels or whatever in the trunk of my car. So I was able to wipe that up, clean up the mess.
Yes. The
Hey, Toshma,
yes.
I've even brought snacks if I know I have a family that's bringing the kids. That has helped a lot. And sometimes our buyers get hungry too. But that also added value that you really care when you like, oh, the kids are fussing. I got some snacks. Do they eat, granola bars or do they like a little juice package thingy or whatever? That helps a lot. And then I like how you pointed out knowing things like how big a mattress is, because believe it or not, our buyers are looking to us as the experts. And some small caveat like that may make them feel like we don't know our stuff. And sometimes we can get punished for things that we should have known that we may have not been prepared for.
Yes, I assure you. And this is not because I'm super smart. This is because I've gotten burned before. So I'm trying to help you not go through the things that I went through. Okay. So definitely, yes, definitely, Anthony, kudos for the paper towels as well as toilet paper. Again, a lot of these flips and a lot of these homes that are vacant don't have toilet paper. When you have to cut your showing short because the little one's got to go to the bathroom, it's dead. You're starting over. Okay. So those, I mean, again, that is not an exhaustive list, but that is certainly a list of things that can be deal breakers. Furniture, the size of furniture is one of the number one things that will shoot your showing in the toilet, because they really feel like their furniture is not going to fit. So as you start, and you have to watch the body language, guys. So ask questions. So how do you see yourself using this room? Never put your own assumptions and values on a property. Always ask them. So how do you feel about the size of this room? How do you feel about the daylight? How do you feel about this kitchen? Don't you say anything. You let them tell you. Because what you think may be too small may be perfect for them. Or they'll say, oh, this kitchen is too small. And you're looking at like, what are you talking about? It's got 2 miles of countertop. But they may have a vision of when their family gets together, there's 30 people in the kitchen. You see what I'm saying? So unless you're asking those questions, so how, Tatiana, how would this function in how would you use this kitchen? How does it make you feel? What do you think you can do? How would you entertain in this home? And then let them tell you what they envision. And now you've got something else to kind of lock into, whether it's this house or in the next one, then okay, so we got 30 people that come together all the time when we have family gatherings. Where can these 30 people hang out? Yes, first aid kit is very good. Yes, that is good. Okay, so that's something else you definitely want to keep in mind. Please don't put your own value basis on any property. Let them tell you. Okay. Let's see what time it's 3 o'clock. Okay. So as we're walking through the home, so am I still shared? No, I'm not shared. All right, let me go. Here, I'm going to share my screen again. We're going to walk back through another home, and you guys are going to give me some feedback, and let's talk about how we're going to sell this house. Okay. Who's working with someone? Give me a house that you guys are, someone that's working with someone right now. Give me a house.
I am. I can give you a house because I need help.
Okay, go ahead, Nikita.
All right, it's 104 Bryant Street.
104. And is it currently active?
It is active, yes. We should have been on the contract, but we have some problems.
Okay. 104.
Bryant Street. You know what? She's not in FMLS.
Okay. So Georgia MLS?
I think so, yeah.
So do you guys, while I'm getting in here, do you guys use Georgia MLS as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
For anybody that is not, I am going to strongly encourage you, when you're looking for homes, please make sure you cross check. Every home that's in FMLS is not in Georgia MLS. Well, let me say it the other way. Every home that's in Georgia MLS may not be in FMLS, particularly if you work any areas past I-20. Okay, because it's up to the brokerage which MLSs they choose to support or use. And a lot of times in our further southern areas and some of our outlying counties, let's say in the farther ends of Douglas County, let's say Cherokee, even sometimes, some of our areas out in Gwinnett, some of our areas in DeKalb, definitely south of 20 and your Fulton, even south, well, some of the South Fulton, Henry County areas, those areas, a lot of times those brokerages do not use FMLS. The house is not always in there. So you would be doing yourself a disservice by not cross-referencing. Okay. So give me that address again, Nikita.
104 Bryant Street. And let me.
Is it 159? Is this it?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. All right. So you guys chime in. Tell me what's your first impression, not Nikita. You already know this house. Talk to me, audience. What's the first impression?
Cute. It has good curb appeal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a garage to the
Large front
side of the
yard.
house?
Okay. So I heard large front yard, cute. Is there a garage?
There's a window unit.
Window. Holy Anthony. Holy Anthony. Yes, there is a window unit.
Could that be the converted garage? Why they have a window unit there?
Very possible. Plausible. That's pretty. I'm sure that's pretty much what it is. But what is that? So what does that mean, Anthony? What did that say to you? The fact that it had a window unit?
That there may be some HVAC issues that we need to look into. And if I'm representing a buyer, that could possibly be a negotiating tool for me.
Yeah, ooh, I love it. You must be talking to some good people.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so yes, guys, take note of what Anthony said, and this is absolutely the same thing I do. So when you're walking the property, of course, you're listening to the client because they're living in the house emotionally, mentally. They're finding themselves in the home. You are looking for ways to negotiate. We start negotiating from the car. Okay, because if they choose this house, then your job, once we get it, or once I say yes, this is the house, then your next job is to go into negotiation. So you want to know, what am I going to be negotiating on? So of course, we love the fact that it was cute. It emoted great responses. It was cute looking. It looks clean. Obviously, they kept the yard up, or they, are keeping it up. And then we see, bam, a window unit. The fact that I have to ask a question means I'm coming after the price. The more questions I have, the more I'm coming after the price as a buyer. So as a buyer's agent, I'm looking for ways to help my client. Now, huge caveat, because we are in a seller's market right now. We may not have the luxury of actually negotiating on price, but they're in the first round. But all we want to do is get picked. Okay. So remember, there's way more than that first presentation of your offer. There's way more areas to negotiate other than that first round. Okay. So you start taking notes. Okay, we got a window unit. So does that mean window unit because the AC is broken? Or does that mean window unit because, Carol, they converted the garage, and obviously the garage did not have climate control when it was originally a garage? So maybe they're using it as some other space, and now they're just climatizing that what used to be a garage space. So I got questions. So questions make me nervous. Okay, let's go on to next picture. Okay, so they're showing us the roof. I see that the yard is flat from where I can see. These are great pictures, by the way, guys. This I can preview from my house, so I didn't have to drive to Stockbridge, thank you, Lord, to see this house, because we have good pictures. Okay. Ooh, we got a nice big flat backyard. Okay, and an outbuilding. Okay. So you guys, well, I'm sorry, because I basically said everything. Let me find another picture. All right. Find another one. Okay, give me feedback on the back.
Like a wheelchair accessible deck, it looks like. Is that like a ramp? Oh no, that's stairs. Sorry. Looks like a ramp.
It did look like a ramp, Brittany, it did. What else do you see?
Is that an AC unit?
Yeah, it's old.
Wow.
Okay.
And the wires on the back of the house. Yeah.
They have 2 satellite dishes.
Yeah, 2 dishes.
Donnie, what does that say? What does that mean? That
No
they
cable.
Bad
Because they really like to watch TV.
Or they have no cable.
They have no cable.
Bad
So
service.
Jennifer, if my client works from home, is that going to be something I might be concerned about?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you're taking note of these, even if they don't say anything. Don't hide it, guys. Don't not say anything. Address the concerns up front so you can get their feeling, because you don't want to waste time, and you don't want to. The worst thing that you can have happen is a client not say anything to you, and they just say, "Oh, it's nice. Oh, it's fine." Yes, Ryan.
This would show up in the home inspection, but it's important for us to know as well that air conditioning unit is pretty small and it has a BTU number, and you can find the chart on the internet, but BTU numbers are associated with how efficient it is. And if that is too small for the square footage of that house, it'll still function, but it reduces the lifespan of the unit.
Okay. Well, I definitely appreciate that information, Ryan, and I would have that in my toolkit. I don't know necessarily that I would bring that up if they don't bring it up, because our first round of negotiation is not our last round of negotiation. Is upgrading the AC something we can get or something we can do? Yes. Can we get them a flat backyard on a half acre everywhere if that's what they're looking for? No, that's something we can't change. So if there's enough things on their hot sheet that this house does address, then we're going to say yes. And then our job becomes a negotiation. How am I going to get them money to get a bigger unit or a better unit after the first round? Because remember, in a seller's market, my job as a buyer specialist is to get my client the home they want. That's my first job.
What's up with all the stovepipes on the roof?
Who knows?
There's like a zillion of them.
There are a zillion of them. I can't even tell you. There's some logical, and then there's some I don't know.
And then I was wondering, will I be overanalyzing? Like if you take that aerial view, to me, it looks like the roof in the front could be newer than the roof in the back. But I don't know if I'm overanalyzing.
I was about to say the same thing about this right corner in the back of the roof. I don't know if it's the lighting, but looks like there might be some shingle issues.
Okay, and that's okay. I'm gonna tell you how I would answer that. Well, you know, Janet, of course, I am not a roofing specialist. Here's what I'd love to do. If this home is the home for you and it otherwise ticks off all the boxes, then what we're going to do in our due diligence is get a certified inspector out here to go through this home, and we're going to call in a roofing company. We have a roofing partners with Keller Williams. We're going to have them come in through in the due diligence as well and make sure that these things are in line. How's that sound? Okay, because at 159, I'm telling you right now, you're not finding any houses that are still available that are in move-in condition on a half-acre lot for 159. So they're not going to have a lot of choices. Are these all things that we could potentially get money for to get it fixed, maybe in the second and third round of negotiation? Absolutely. So I wouldn't necessarily shoot the house down if it otherwise meets some of those needs of the things we can't change. We can't change location. So if the location works, we can't change it. If they wanted something flat and everything else out there's got topography, hilly topography, we can't change that. So, we have to focus on those things as well. And we have to focus on the market if there is anything else. Okay. So now we're going to go inside. All right. Well, that's not a great picture. Oops. Okay. So what do we see?
Excuse me, I have a question before we continue in the inside. Outside, there was a big backyard.
I'm sorry, Olga, you're breaking up. I cannot hear you.
Oh, like if you plan to rent this house, building a pool in the backyard is a plus or is a good thing when you're planning to rent it?
I think I heard your question, and I'd probably sidebar that question. The question I think would be, is there an HOA that would prohibit or allow me to put a pool?
Well, no. Like if you are buying that as an investment property and having a pool is something good to rent it when you are doing a lease, is something that will bring value to the lease or not?
No. Pools are liability
because of the maintenance
and the safety. You can't. I wouldn't recommend that for a lease. Pools are for personal enjoyment. They're not necessarily an added value especially in terms of leasing. Do you know how much liability? That's a separate conversation. But yeah, I would definitely consider that before investing in a pool for a lease. Okay.
Thank you.
So tell me how you would use this room, guys. Give me feedback on this room. First of all, what room do you think it is, and how would you use it?
Is there a window on the left? Is this the front room?
So it appears to be the front room, and there's probably a window over here by this left arrow. So it's like the front room, great room.
It looks like a sitting room or living room. That's what it's based on the pictures. That's what I would use it as. As a matter of fact, I would even go a step further and suggest, if it were me, opening that wall on up so that it's just one big open. That's something you could do with that particular space, because people nowadays tend to like that flow from the kitchen to the sitting area or family room, for example.
Okay, Audra, I like where you're going with that observation. I would suggest that you go back to your needs analysis and make sure that that's what they want to do.
Gotcha.
Because again, because the trend is open doesn't mean that your particular client likes open.
And Toshma, I'm glad you popped my hand, because been there, done that. My husband was showing a home to a couple. I was sitting in the car and I got up and went in there. So I'm like, oh, I love this big open floor plan. The wife was like, I hate open floor plans. So that's my thing. I'll keep that in mind.
Again, I'm telling you from the mistakes I've made.
Yeah.
I know y'all don't believe this, but I actually am not a big talker. I don't talk a lot. I like to listen. And I'm sitting in there like your neighborhood psychiatrist. I got my little pen and pad and I'm like, so tell me how you feel about this, Audra. So tell me, how does this room make you feel? So what do you think about the colors? I never make statements unless they ask me. I'm taking notes because they may say, you know what, I know, and this is what you hear. I know everybody likes that open thing, but I don't want everybody seeing my dishes. I like having a wall in between here and there. So now I don't have to go moving walls. So I just saved myself a conversation. However, you're absolutely right. If I say, so Audra, how do you feel about this great room? And you say, you know what, I would like it, but it's so closed off. Then I'm interjecting, okay, well, simply put, we can definitely move this wall right here. It's not load bearing. You want to go to new construction building courses. Even if you don't work in new construction, you want to see how a home is constructed. So you're not a professional, but at least you can have an idea of what is a load bearing wall. Is this a wall that I could potentially take out and not cause major surgery? You're just giving them suggestions. Hey, it may be very easy to take this second wall out here and open this up to the kitchen. You do want to help the family visualize themselves in it. The paint and the flooring, that is lipstick and rouge. We change it every day. We go into major surgery when we start adding rooms and bumping things out. That's major surgery. Lipstick and rouge, we all change that every day. Okay. All right. So I think that was Brittany. I think it was that asked about the windows. There are windows in that front room. Okay, there's another view. All right. So what do you guys think? Give me feedback on this room.
It looks like it's pretty spacious, but it's just weird. Like the layout and the curve of the room is kind of odd. And the house looks like it needs some updating. Definitely a lot of lipstick and rouge.
Okay.
But it's usable.
Okay. At least from these pictures, we can tell that there's something going on with the flooring there. Kitchen. Give me feedback on the kitchen. What do you think about the kitchen?
Lots of cabinet space.
Okay.
Updated appliances.
Those are is that granite or is that just kind of like pre-manufactured countertops?
Yes, it's a laminate.
Yeah, laminate.
Okay. So here's what they did. They did enough to get by. Again, we have to remember price point, guys. We're at $159. You have to know what to expect in certain price points.
You could say great starter home type of a thing, or an investment property.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So you
those
make a
floors
good rental.
definitely are wood.
People are less picky with rentals, you know, it's clean, it looks very clean.
So with a good coat of paint, we already have new appliances. Here's where you go in with your lender partner. Because again, you're not the money professional either, but go ahead and get some quotes, some ideas of payments. So if they start turning their nose up at the paint or saying that, oh, these are laminate countertops, you know, Bonnie, I understand it may not be granite and it may not be traditional hardwood, but let's remind ourselves why we're moving. Our rent is going up $100 and we're paying $1,500 for a 2-bedroom rental.
Is that
Imagine at this $159, you're at $1,000 payment. You know, so find ways to help them come, because you're not going to find many 159 houses, period, let alone in a somewhat decent moving condition, not in this market right now. Okay.
And with that land.
And with the land, again, that's things you can't change, you know, so You have to go back to those pressure points for your buyer. Now, if they're looking for totally move in and they don't want to do anything, then they may have to give up on the land. So, but you have to know what's important to the client. Is that in the top 5 things that was the pressure point? If it wasn't, then that's got to be a negotiable. Paint, we can ask the seller for paint money in the inspection. We're going to find something in the inspection. So it's a matter of, are we going to get the seller to fix it, or can we get money? And maybe we can conjure up some money for them to get a paint job done after closing. So Bonnie, outside of the paint, is there any other reason this home would not work for you and your family? I think she's saying no. So then
There's no other reason. I love the land. There's plenty to work with here. Those wood floors are nice value right there. You can't easily put those in. So I just paint that kitchen white, put an island in the center, and I'll be pretty happy.
Awesome. So on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being horrible and 5 being I could call it home, what would you give this house, Bonnie?
I'll give it a 4.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. And one more thing I'd love for you to do for me, Bonnie, if you could give this home 1 word reminder, what do you think of the first impression of this home?
Cared for.
Cared for. So we're going to give this home a 4, and we're going to call it cared for, because after about 3 more houses, Bonnie, we're not going to remember addresses. We're not going to remember any of that stuff, but you're going to remember the cared for house.
Yes.
So when we talk about it later on tonight or talk about it tomorrow, I'm going to say, okay, Bonnie, you remember the cared for house? And you're like, oh yeah, you know, it had the great kitchen with the great countertops and all that land, but that ugly paint. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to name the house. We're going to get them to name it. We're going to get them to rate it. Now, this is a secret from my end. I don't tell the client this. I let them rate it first, 1 to 5. 1, 2, 3 won't make the cut. Bonnie gave it a 4. We're writing an offer. Bonnie gave it a 5. We're writing an offer, and we're naming it. If she gives it a 1 through a 3, I'm not even going to name it. Now I'll get through 2 homes if necessary. I'll get through 2 homes before I tell them my rating structure, because I don't want to tarnish how they're going to rate it, because people don't like to give anything a perfect, and they don't want to think they found the house. So I don't tell them until we're done, unless there's a reason to. I'll let them give me the score. I'm like 4 or 5. Okay, great. So when we're finished for the day, I'm like, all right, Bonnie, you gave the cared for house a 4. It's time to write an offer. And you're like, oh, wait, you gave it a 4. Hardly anybody gives 5s, Bonnie. If you gave it a 4, you could call it home. So let's write an offer. You see, I didn't ask. I didn't ask. Oh, we got to write an offer.
You're good, Toshma.
Let's write an offer.
Let's do it. I'm sold.
Okay. That's a real condensed version of getting through the house, but we're going to find the pressure points. Everything starts in the consultation. If I can end anything here with you guys, it starts in the consultation. Take your time in that consult, ask questions. Just remember how you feel when you go to the doctor. He or she asks you 55,000 questions before he gives you a prognosis. It can be in conversation. It doesn't have to be an interrogation, but get down to those 5 pressure points, emotional triggers of the reasons, the motivations for that buyer moving, because that's how you're going to navigate the rest of this process. So even when they start to get off the rails, if they said price, then remember, well, I know, Bonnie, I know it doesn't have granite countertops, and I know this paint is god awful. In this market we saw in the consultation, there's literally 5 houses. We were actually lucky enough to get into one of those 5 houses. So if we're going to honor your budget and stay at 159, this is the house. Is there any reason outside of paint that this could not be the house for you? If they say no, if there's no other reason, then this is the house. We can work on paint. Okay. Questions? Did I lose y'all? Looking at me sideways.
So can I kind of give a disclaimer on this house? Okay, the house has been, my client loves it. She's young, but she loves it. She wants to live in it for some reason. She doesn't care how old it is. The current owners have been in the home for 50 years. The house has been under contract 3 times, but then it goes back. They won't lower the price because it has a lot of issues, and it's not just cosmetic. So what do, and I've spoken with the listing agent and they're not budging. They knocked it down 10,000. It was first listed at 169. They've knocked it down to 159, but it's still not enough for what needs to be done. So now what?
You're on mute, Toshma.
Only thing I'm going to say in this 1 minute of time is that time changes a lot. So does your client have time?
Yes, she has time.
Then time changes a lot. Stalk the house and keep presenting an offer, even if it's the same offer, because time heals a lot. Even with people, nobody has infinite money. And when you're in a house that's empty, that's like paying alimony. You have already divorced the house and you're still trying to take care of it. That's not a good feeling. All right, guys. Well, thank you. Thank you for your time. I'm trusting that this was beneficial for you.
Do you have a, because I don't want it to end. Do you have a social media or like Facebook, however we can get in touch with you another way?
Yes, I'm on Instagram. I am the Pinckney Group, Pinckney.
Your phone went out. You went out.
The Pinckney Group.
Oh.
It's Pinckney. The Pinckney Group ATL. That's my family name, Pinckney. And then on Facebook, I'm Toshma Pinckney Graves.
Toshma, can you stop screen sharing?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Okay, let's get a quick photo. Tanika, I'm so sorry you don't feel well. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, honey. Okay. Cheese. All right. I think now one last question. Are y'all getting what do you call it? Instructor questionnaires? Is somebody sending you those?
No.
You're talking the surveys, right, Stacey? We haven't gotten any. Well, I haven't gotten any since the first 4 last week.
Okay.
I think Jill sent it one time, but I wasn't really sure of how to submit it back.
Okay. Yeah, this has been kind of an epic fail on this.
Or even
on
how
that
to fill it out.
topic. So I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. But what are we going to give Toshma? 2 thumbs up. Woo! I told you you'd love her.
Excellent.
Oh, goodness. Okay, y'all. Great
Thank
job.
you.
Great
Feel
job.
free to text me if you want to text me or
Toshma,
yes.
yeah, what's your email? Yeah, what's your email address and all that, please? I know
Toshma
you gave us the.
Yes, Toshma Graves, Toshma, Toshma Graves at KW. Yeah, texting me is the best way because I'm with client or Instagram, you know, like through the social media because it'll come on my phone. I'm usually with clients, so I don't answer my phone when I'm with clients. But if you text me, I'll reply back to you. Let's go out here and win, guys. It's all about winning the buyer, winning the home, getting paid. I don't know about y'all, but I like to eat.
You said we could text you. What was your phone number?
678-596-0261. And just say you're from Ignite, so that way I'll okay. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time. Hopefully I kept you engaged, entertained.
Toshma, may I ask you a question?
Thank you.
Yes.
If you have time when everyone's finished. I have a client who has a VA loan, but he doesn't want to get his credit pulled for some reason. He's like, I don't want my credit pulled. The loan is 100% guaranteed. I don't know how to get him to agree to do this.
Well, he doesn't have a loan if he didn't get his credit pulled.
He has a what is it, a CE or what is it called, a CR? From the.
He has a certificate of eligibility.
See,
He does not have a loan.
he doesn't have a loan.
So he ain't
Only
buying the house.
lenders give loans.
Yes, he ain't buying a house without a loan approval. He has an eligibility saying he can use his VA.
Okay.
Yep.
But I guess my question is, how do I convince him to fill out the pre-approval form?
He will, if he's not paying cash, he will not be able to compete to get a home. Even if he finds it, he won't be able to get it without an approval. When you submit an offer to a listing agent, it better come with a proof of funds or an approval letter, or they're not going to consider it. They don't take you seriously. So if he's ready to play in this market, he needs to be armed and ready. And that's to help him win. I always throw it back to the client. Nikita, I want to help you win. The only way we're going to win in the seller's market is that you are ready with your proof of funds or your approval letter. Period. Their sellers are not taking you serious. Even new construction right now, even if it takes them 10 months to build a house, they're not even writing the contract until you speak with the lender.
Correct.
So is it like one of those things that almost like FHA, even though you're kind of like backed by the government, like they still want to know that you're going to be able to pay whatever you're obligated to pay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The VA eligibility just means you are a veteran. You have met the qualifications to receive benefits. It doesn't mean you have a loan, that you actually have the money, the funds. It just means you can use your VA benefits to purchase a home. And see, if he had gotten approved, he would know that there was a difference. That's that comes in the education. So have him connect with your loan officer just to have, I always say, look, we're just gonna have a conversation.
The thing is, he won't do it. So I was asking, like, is there a script to push him more to like he wants to buy. He knows he can be backed with this loan, but he doesn't want to get his credit pulled. Older gentleman, like, I don't know.
Did you ask him, is there a reason why he doesn't want to get it pulled?
He comes back with a smart response of, "Oh, I'm backed by the government. I have this VA. He sent an approval. It's not an approval, but he sent the certificate and all of that, and he just doesn't think he needs to get it done."
But he still doesn't have a loan. You got to let him know that that's not a loan.
Absolutely. That's the, Nikita, that's the conversation. Great, Mr. Buyer. I see your certificate of eligibility. Let's have a conversation, and we can do it together. Just a conversation with a lending professional that will actually provide the funds to back that eligibility, and let the lender explain to them, all he has is a piece of paper saying he has benefits. It's not saying he has a loan. He does not have a loan, and you should not be showing a house without knowing that he can qualify. So period. And you can say, if he wants to look at a house, then he's going to need to have his loan approval, not his certificate of eligibility. Any other questions?
I have a quick question, Toshma.
Yes, ma'am.
Has there ever been a point where you advised the client that you may not be the agent for them because of their position in this? Because I'm about to follow up with a client of mine who's a family member. And I'm at this financing part and you're sending me all these houses and this certain way you want to move. And at some point, I'm like, I may have to get serious and say, well, if this is how you want to move, unfortunately, I may not be that agent for you. Have you ever had to do that before?
Yes. And that's one of the things I love about being an independent contractor. I decide who I want to work with. And I have been fired, not a lot of times. I've been fired, and I've certainly fired some people. That's the beauty. You're not in line with how I do business, so I'm not a good fit for you. Here's what I will do, though, because I care about you winning. I am going to give you a couple of partner suggestions who would work really well with you to get you the home you want. So now I just made 25% of whatever, as opposed to 0% of this. Yes, don't be afraid to refer it out, and that family members included. That's the hardest job to do because they don't take you seriously.
Thank you.
They know you before you were saved. Okay. All right.
I have a quick question. I have a friend that lives in Texas, and he's looking to buy a house. And I remember them saying that we could find a list of KW agents in those areas. How would we find somebody to refer them to if they're looking to purchase, but they're in a different state?
Honey, we got that for you. Log into Command.
Okay.
And on the left side, you look at all the applets, and there's one called referrals. And then on the screen, you're gonna choose map. So you want to go to the map of the United States, and you'll put in the city and state or whatever. And then the next choice you'll make, what I want to see on the map. I want to see market centers. So you zoom in to find the closest market center to where they want. And as soon as you select a market center, on the right, you get every agent in that market center and their production and any, special things about them. Oh my gosh, everybody in Keller World you can find through the referrals app.
Okay, perfect. Because he's asking me for options, and I'm like, I don't live in Texas. I don't know. So.
Oh no, don't let that stop you. You want that 25% referral fee.
Thank you.
Do not be afraid of referrals, guys. Please, if you're nervous, get with your sponsor, get with your peer in the office, someone that you look up to, and agree to refer with them and let them teach you through. That was terrible. Take the business. Say yes. And Tatiana, absolutely, you are a relocation specialist. I don't care if you haven't sold a piece of real estate. I say that all the time. I get people wherever, oh, my cousin is selling in Bahamas. Wonderful. I am a relocation specialist. I have partners all over the world. I made $10,000, not last year. I think it was last year, referrals.
Wow.
Name and a number.
KW is in 50 countries now. So
that's another stream of income, guys. You have to do a thing, but find the right fit.
So when we do the referrals, is there a form that we would need to submit to? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right, guys.
Thank you.
Go make some money.
Thank you, Tosh.